The other main news story, well, one of the main news stories across the weekend was how King Charles, had said to Andrew, I want you out of Royal Lodge. Basically, I want you out, so I'm not going to give you any money. To which apparently Prince Andrew said, I don't need your money, I'm staying. Well, it's in total disrepair. Millions are needed to be spent on it. And the man in the know also is going to give me some tips for Cheltenham this weekend. Rupert Bell talks royal/racing/boxing/correspondent and everything because he's intelligent. How are you, my friend?
Very good. Don't do boxing.
My father was a boxer.
Was he?
Mother was a bloodhound. Laugh.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, I'm here all week. Kick Jeremy. Yeah.
Yes. Summer season.
I finally got where you were going there.
How are you, kidder?
Very good. Looking forward to Cheltenham this weekend, as you alluded to. Will you be there?
I will. I've got a big tip that I backed at 20-1 in the Greatwood. Right.
Okay. You're going to share that with me?
6-1 now.
Okay.
I'll tell you off air. Yeah, you going Friday, Saturday, Sunday? We'll be there. We'll be there. You going?
No, I'm not going Sunday because actually I can't go. But actually, very good reason because my grandfather is being remembered for what he did in the Second World War, which is very touching. So there we go.
That's nice. So we'll see you there Friday and Saturday. Ru, let's talk about King Charles and this situation with Royal Lodge. You know that I know Royal Lodge quite well. I live quite near to it. It is definitely in a state of disrepair. He was given it by his mother on a long-term lease. He has to pay £240,000 a year, I think, for rent. But he's had his monies slashed completely now by King Charles. And the big question that everybody's saying is because Andrew said, I'm staying. They're all now going, who's bankrolling him then? Where's the money coming from?
Oh, and that is the big debate because he's pleaded poverty. I'm sure he's inherited something from his mother. So he'll have means, but does he have the means to maintain the Royal Lodge in the way it is expected as per the terms of the arrangement? And if it's a $250,000 a year rent, that's an awful lot of money that he's got to cough up. And you would have thought, if he could see sense, that why not just cut his cloth accordingly and move into Frogmore Cottage? But the trouble is with Andrew, he's obviously got friends, and if it's been checked out by royal financiers, and they've said that as far as they're concerned, he has the money to pay, we don't know where it's come from. His track record is not brilliant with some of the people that have given donations to him. So but it's been checked out and saying it's all above board. Hopefully due diligence has been done to ensure that this is the case. But if he says he can stay, then there's not much the king can do it because, as you say, he has a lease and he's had a 55-year lease on it. So
why does Charles? Why is it so important to Charles to get him out? Is it, hear me out, is it to make the point? Is it to make the point that he's distancing himself still further from his brother after all the problems associated with Jeffrey Epstein and all that? Or is it the modern monarchy, it's too big, we need to pay for these things, there was rumours that he was going to rent it out or whatever? What do you make of it? What do you think the truth is?
Trying to run a more frugal ship.
Yeah.
And basically giving money for security when he's no longer a working royal, that he's telling his brother, look, help me out here. Move back into Frogmore. You will get all the necessary security because, you know, you're in the Windsor bubble and there is enough security around there, given that we've got to protect other members of the royal family who live within the vicinity. So I just think that the problem with Andrew, he's lost everything. And I suppose he's now thinking the one thing I still have that is a constant in my life is Royal Lodge. Because what else has he got? Because, as you know, the only times we tend to see him now is driving his Range Rover around, or Land Rover around the Windsor Great Park, or occasionally sitting on a horse, having a gentle ride around the park. He doesn't do anything else in terms of profile. We might see him, I suppose, at Sandringham for Christmas when they do the walk to church, and we might see him there. But otherwise, he's invisible. And so the king is basically saying, come on, cut your cloth. But what he said now is, look, here is my cloth, and I can still live there. That is a problem for the king. And he said, well, I tried, but in 5 years' time, you never know. He might realise that the error of his ways and come back with the tail between his legs. But he's not someone who does that very easily.
Listen, I've got some breaking news, which is nothing to do with Andrew. People are waving at me, and I'd like your response because you're a sporty man. We're breaking the story here on Talk that Gary Lineker is to quit the BBC after the 2026 World Cup. God, we've still got 2 more years of him, the Sun can reveal. The star will stop presenting Match of the Day at the end of this season, but as part of his 18-month contract extension, the 63-year-old will stay on to anchor the corporation's 25-26 FA Cup coverage in the next World Cup. Lineker, who will take a substantial pay cut, will have hosted Match of the Day for 25 years when he steps down. So he's quitting at the end of this season, the football, and then he's going to stay 1 more season to do the FA Cup coverage in the next World Cup. That apparently is breaking news. Rupert Bell, do you care or not?
I don't think we need to feel sorry for him. He's done his turn. He's earning millions from his podcast company. He can probably continue to make millions from that. So he may have taken a pay cut and move on, and another 2 more years. Let me tell you how much money that podcast is making. I only know that because I do know that. I'm not going into why. I didn't see Alan Shearer the other day at all. Interesting. Lineker steps down then. He steps down from Match of the Day at the end of this season, but he stays on for the FA Cup and the World Cup through to 2026, then he retires. He's done 25 years. If you and I could get 25 years from this gig, if we could get 2 years from this gig, we'd be happy. So, for you... On, if I'm talking to you when I'm 90...
How old are you now, Belly?
Well, I've just told you, if I'm talking to you when I'm 90, then...
Are you 65? Are you 65?
Yes.
Are you? I thought you were... So you're nearly 70 then?
Well, I'm nearer 70 than I am 60. Yes, Jeremy.
Dear God. Listen, I'm quite worried because I'm 60 next year. What happens at 60? Does it all go hopelessly wrong? Do you have to have sort of...
Well, the young children say, "Don't worry, you're not getting. You've got a lot of work to go through. So you need to keep young and fit, because with all this expanding family of yours, you just need to make sure that you're feeling young and fresh."
One of my kids said to me at the weekend, "Are you having any more or are you done?" I went, "No, I'm done." And they went, "We don't believe you." Seriously, you better believe me. Belly, see you Friday at Cheltenham. Thank you for that, and thank you for the insight into Prince Andrew.